Hello, Rob. You on mute?
Hey, Luke. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
You're doing well, man. Doing well. That was a great session.
Taking notes. It's getting late now, so my brain's starting to slow down. But we're still going. We're still going strong, I think. So
awesome. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Excellent. So if anyone has been watching us from the very beginning, we are now approaching the end of the 5-hour marathon webinar. If you have been watching us from the beginning, then kudos to you. I am seriously impressed. In this final session, I'm now joined by Rob Belasabas from TubeBuddy, and he's going to be sharing his presentation on how to get your first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube as quickly as possible. So, Rob, great to have you here. Where are you from today?
I'm Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver, Canada.
Absolutely awesome. So what time is it over there at the moment?
It is 2:30 in the afternoon, Thursday. So
perfect. Oh, yes. You should be in prime form then. This is like peak time for today for you.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Got a couple coffees in me already, so let's hope so.
Do you want to give everybody a very quick intro on who you are?
Yeah. Again, thanks to Semrush, to Anton, to the whole crew there at Semrush for inviting us over here. My name is Rob Belasabas. I'm the brand evangelist at TubeBuddy. So we're a YouTube tool partnered with YouTube. And so, that's what I do here. And so I get to connect with all of our users, all of our partners, and, create and come up with cool ideas to get everyone to connect with each other. So that's what I do here at TubeBuddy.
Sounds like an absolutely amazing role, to be completely honest. Quick reminder to everybody watching, these sessions are being recorded, so replays will be available. But if you're joining us live, please let us know in the chat where you're watching us from, because we always like to know where in the world our audience are. And of course, please ask Rob questions. And as soon as he's finished his presentation, we'll try and answer as many as we can. Okay, I know we've only got a short session. This is only a 30-minute session, Rob. So if it's okay with you, I think we should just jump straight into it.
Sounds good. There we are. So I'll take about 10 minutes for the first out of the 30 and just present a few ideas, get a conversation started on how to get to your first 1,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. So if you guys are in the chat, we'd love to know if you guys are above or below 1,000 subscribers, just so get a bit of context on who's with us here today. So and then after that, like Luke said, I'm happy to dive into some Q&A about anything else that you guys want to ask about. So first thing is really, why is 1,000 subscribers such an important milestone on YouTube anyway? So one of the biggest is really, it's one of the things that's 50% of the requirements to get monetization. So you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours over the last 12 months to get monetization. So this is why, if you guys search on YouTube, this is probably a very common video that you may find, how to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So that's why, that's one of the biggest reasons that you guys need that. Now, really quickly, I know I already introduced myself, so I'm just going to blast through the next couple slides here. So who am I? So I work at TubeBuddy. I'm the brand evangelist here. I also have my own personal channel where I kind of pretty much just practice what I preach. So I apply all the things that we get to teach at TubeBuddy and apply it to my personal channel, sort of a testing ground, if you may, for a lot of the strategies that we're sharing at TubeBuddy as well. So for me, 18 months. This is the number of months that it took me to get to my first 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys are at 1,000 subscribers, or if you guys got there, would love to know in the chat how long it took you guys. I know that sometimes it takes a couple weeks, sometimes it takes much longer. But yeah, would love to know in the chat how long it took those of us here that have more than 1,000 subscribers. How long did it take you? So here's a couple screenshots. So I started my channel October 1st, 2018, and I reached my first 1,000 April 27th of this year, 2020. So 18 months-ish. Now, the funny thing is that there is, if you're consistent, which I'm going to talk about this, but if you're consistent and applying learning, there's a bit of a snowball effect. Luke, I don't know if you can sort of agree with that, but there's a bit of a snowball effect in your growth on YouTube. And so the funny thing is that now from 1,000 subscribers to 2,000, so my second 1,000 subscribers, it should only take me about 3 months. If you guys go to my channel, it's maybe like I'm like 15 or 20 subscribers away from 2,000 subscribers on my personal channel. So it's a very interesting thing. A lot of people have told me that that's what would happen, that there's a bit of a snowball effect. Your channel starts picking up momentum. So now we're going to jump into the tips here. So the first thing, and all of these guys, all of these tips are things that I have, I would like to tell myself. So these aren't things that I just kind of pull out of the air. These are things that I've learned over sort of my journey over the last couple of years on YouTube with my personal channel. And so the first thing is keyword research. So identifying long tail keyword opportunities that have decent search volume but are less competitive. So especially for a small channel, I was listening to Chase and I was like, man, I wish I could just not do descriptions and still grow. But for the most part, I think Carla also alluded to it, that it's really important to use and take advantage of description, your tags, your titles. And so doing keyword research before you create videos is very important. I'm going to show you guys a graph in a little bit of my growth of my channel. But what you guys will see is that in the beginning, I just really created videos that I just felt good about. Anybody else do that? Felt good about. And so I made videos that I felt good about. I saw some comments on a blog post. I saw people DMing me with questions, and I was like, I'll make a video on that. And so what would happen is I'll film it, edit it, spend a bunch of time, and then I would get to my computer again and start uploading the video. And I would do some keyword research after the video was already done. And I would always end up getting cornered into a really competitive keyword. And so that wouldn't get any views, wouldn't get any traction. And so all that work, making that video kind of resulted in very zero success, very low success. And so now I do keyword research first. So very, very simple things. So LinkedIn content is one of the things that I talk about in my personal channel. So LinkedIn Live, for example, here, I can see that the score is 29 out of 100 for my channel based on search volume, competition, and optimization strength. Now, with a little bit of a tweak, just adding LinkedIn Live tips, now the score is 83 out of 100, right? So really simple things like that helps me to now understand that this is a better opportunity for me to actually go after this particular keyword. And also using a longer tail title like that makes it more discoverable and obviously goes further down the road. Now, the second thing is to be consistent. I get to talk to a lot of content creators, YouTubers, people that are trying to grow YouTube channels, and consistency is one of the biggest thing, one of the hardest thing to keep up. So being consistent is really important on YouTube, not just to sort of satisfy and work the YouTube algorithms, but also for you as a content creator to get into the rhythm of filming, leveling up your skills when it comes to talking to the camera, editing, all those things. All right. So I'm going to share a couple tools as well that I use to make sure that I'm consistent. So here's my personal channel as far as views. So you guys see number 1. So this is kind of when my channel started. You can't even see the number of uploads because there's so little. There's not many uploads. So barely a heartbeat here in this section. Sort of, I would say maybe 9 months or so or several months into my channel, I started uploading. So you'll see, a few uploads here, a couple uploads here, kind of spread out though, kind of few and far in between. But there's some more activity now, some more views and so on. Now, I would say from about 9 months ago, really started taking YouTube seriously, uploading much more frequently, doing live streams as well. I think Chase alluded to that he does a lot of live streams. So doing much more activity on YouTube and being more consistent. So now, things are really picking up. Now, also part of this is editing. So understanding and having a system for editing, getting better at editing. If you do your own editing, maybe perhaps you're fortunate enough to outsource your editing. But if you're doing your own editing, then you get into a groove of editing as well, having a template for your edits, for your videos, and so on, for your introductions, your outros, all those things helps you become more efficient and more consistent. One of the tools that I use is Trello. So you guys look here. This is my Trello board for my YouTube channel. And so I've got a full sort of a list here of different ideas on the left-hand side. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, yeah, you can. And then every Monday, I will kind of look at my ideas and say like, okay, well, which videos do I want to film over the next couple of weeks, and then I move them over to the next column. Once they're filmed, I move them to the next column for editing. And then once they're edited, then I move them over to the next column with the thumbnails and everything all done, ready for upload. And so that just makes things a lot easier for me. Also, having a checklist. So having a checklist is very, very important. I think it might be a little too small on the screen here, but this is my checklist on Trello. You can do this on any sort of project management tool, Asana, Monday, whatever tool you use. And so this is for me, it's kind of broken down. I have all of my descriptions, my target keywords, my hook, introduction, my value propositions, my calls to action, what I want to say in the videos, all done here. I also have 3 very distinct separate checklists within this, and it's broken down by what I do before recording, what I do after recording, and then what I do after publishing. So more of the promotion side. So that's all there. So again, YouTube there's so many little tasks and so many little details with YouTube creating and uploading videos that it's really easy to forget a step. And so this is just a way for me to not have to remember any of it because it's all listed down. So it's always the same for every video. I have, and speaking to what Chase was sharing earlier, with live streams as well. With the live streams, I also have a checklist, especially if there's guests that I'm inviting in. There's also a checklist for how we run our live streams, how we promote our live streams, so that everything is systematic. So speaking of live streams, the third thing that would really help me if I can tell myself 18 months ago what to do with YouTube is to do collaborations. So this is a really easy way to get organic sharing with a targeted audience. You can do interviews with other experts. You can do roundup tips, and you can also do scripted sort of content collaborations. So here is a playlist, for example. So here at TubeBuddy, we have what's called the Creators Corner show. And so it's a weekly show. We invite creators, small, big, different creators from other platforms and experts. And we just invite them to have a candid conversation on how they're growing their audience, what they're doing on YouTube, how they're using other platforms, and so on. And so, again, just a regular, really easy way to create content. And again, very organic, right? We usually schedule these ahead of time so that there's a YouTube URL that they can share. We send the guests the thumbnails and everything like that, swipe copy, so that they can also share it on their social if they like. We've also done roundup sort of collaborations. So this is, we did a recent one on TikTok and got some people that are using TikTok really well. Another collaboration on how to get your first 1,000 subscribers really fast from a lot of more established creators. And so we do roundup collaborations like this as well. And then the fourth thing is watch time and session time. So paying attention to watch time and session time on YouTube is something that we are doing more and more. Probably actually more than we actually pay attention to subscribers at this point. And so the best ways to do that is using end cards and cards, which I never used up until probably 3 months ago on my personal channel. And this is just a way to get more people to watch more of your videos. And then also, it just helps YouTube to suggest your videos and keep you top of mind. So one of the things here, audience retention, right? So this is watch time. So when it comes to watch time, what watch time is, for those that aren't familiar, is that it's the amount of time that people watch for your individual videos. Session time is the amount of time they spend on YouTube altogether in that particular sitting. And so one of the things that you can do if you are paying attention to your videos is look at the audience retention time. If you just go to your analytics and then go into overview, you'll see it. And so if you see that, for example, this video, it's a 7-minute video and the average watch time was about 34%, 33%, so 2.5 minutes. Then what we would do is we would put cards right before the 2.5-minute mark, so 2 minutes probably around there, to then suggest another video on our channel that they may be interested in, so that instead of leaving our channel completely, they may we'll try to send them over to another one of our videos. Also end cards you can put at the end. And again, this just helps with session time. So if they watch your entire video, they get to the end, send them to another video that's related to what they're watching. So this video was about LinkedIn. Then we sent them to another video about LinkedIn mistakes, for example. And so there we go. Awesome. There you go, Luke. So really quick and dirty, few tips, and then happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
That was brilliant. That was really awesome. I really enjoyed that presentation, and it was straight to the point. It was funny because I don't know why, but when I first started on YouTube, I had this big thing in my mind that I really wanted 1,000 subscribers. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it was such an important milestone. Back then, you didn't need to have minimum requirements for monetization. You could get monetized at 100 subscribers. So I don't know where I got it from, but it took me about 18 months as well, interestingly. So
it's a magic number.
That seems to be, it must be a magic number for some people, definitely. It's interesting you talked about things like the snowball effect as well. I think a lot of creators can take kind of like a lot of not inspiration, but it can take like a lot from that, because I think when you first start out and it's a bit of a grind and you're creating a lot of content, but things are moving slowly, it's nice to know that in the future you will have this kind of snowball effect with your channel. I think you say it took me about 18 months to get my first 1,000 subscribers, but then the following year I had 6,000 or 7,000. So it really does change. And in fact, it was interesting yesterday. I had a memory pop up on Facebook saying that I'd shared this thing saying, "Oh, my channel's hit 1 million views," which was a great number for my personal channel. And it's now on nearly 6 million views, and that's within a year. So things really can change. They can really can snowball. So I've got a few questions popping up from the chat.
Sure.
So I'll just share some of these with you if that is okay. Everybody is very impressed with your level of organization. I think that Trello board has blown a few minds, myself included, actually, within that. I'm not afraid to admit. Somebody called Love to Latitude has asked, do you have checklists available for purchase or free?
It's actually free. I mean, I'm happy to share it with you guys, and you guys can share it, or I can put in the link, whatever is best. But I just have it free, available for just download it. It's an opt-in that I've created. So it's a lead magnet I've created, but it's essentially everything that's in my Trello board. I've just put it into a PDF. So I can share it with you, Luke, or Anton afterwards, and share it that way.
Perfect. Yeah, if you can share it, that'd be wonderful. I'm sure that'll make people very happy. Okay, we've got another question from a lady called Suket. They have some videos. They've generated some great views and comments, but their subscribers are not growing. Do you have any hints or tips?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so there's a lot of I see those kind of channels, every now and then, lots of views. You may want to actually just ask, right? You might just want to pay attention to see if you are actually asking for people to subscribe. I'm at this point, again, just to repeat kind of what I said earlier, is that we're really less and less concerned about getting subscribers. We are more concerned about building a community. And so we don't tend to ask. We'll ask once in a while at the end of our videos. But for every video, though, we do have a little bit of an animation that does pop up in the introduction, even of the little subscribe click thing with a cursor and the notification bell. So we do put that in there. So just make sure that you are asking as well. Don't be afraid, especially when your channel is a little bit smaller, mine included. Just be really upfront. Like, hey, we'd love to, if you're new to the channel, we'd love for you to subscribe if this is the kind of content that you are interested in. And also mention what your channel is about. So why would they want to subscribe, right? So, hey, if you're interested in learning more about live streaming or creating better content quicker and faster, then we'd love for you to subscribe, because that's the kind of videos I share on my channel. So given the value proposition, and that while you're asking for this, for them to subscribe, don't just say subscribe because you like me.
I think there's a couple of things there. I think the first thing is a lot of people put a lot of emphasis onto the number of subscribers as that kind of the benchmark of success for their channel. Yet there's channels that are extremely successful that maybe don't have as many subscribers as you might think. The other thing would be to consider what your value proposition is of your channel. So is there a reason for people to subscribe? Are they just watching one of your videos and they think the video is good, but then there's nothing really else that's going to interest them in terms of getting them to subscribe to your channel? So you can maybe it's not a very simple question to answer. It's a bit of a loaded question. I think you probably need to have a bit of a closer look at their channel to give them some real world advice. Just out of curiosity, you mentioned that you started doing live streams.
Mhm,
Obviously, you
mhm.
talked about your whole process, which was a very organized process, with your planning going all the way through to your editing. Have you started doing more live streams because you kind of don't have to have that whole editing side?
Yeah. So on a weekly basis, I do a couple live streams at least. So I do a live stream for the TubeBuddy channel. It's called the Creators Corner, and then also my own personal channel. I do a live stream every Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific here on the West Coast in Canada, and I just do that every single week. And that's strictly community building, which is I think really important, no matter how big or small your channel is. And so I do that. You guys can actually see all the replays. I leave the replays as a public video. Strictly because I want people to know when they come to my channel that is something you can expect. That every Friday, I'm going to make myself available for an hour and a half to answer your questions. And so, just coming from an online course background, so previous to TubeBuddy, I was working at Thinkific, online course platform for a number of years, and so I kind of understand and hopefully understand how people learn. And you share content, right? That's what the on-demand content is. Hopefully they go and apply it, and then I give them an opportunity to come back to then ask questions. And that's sort of the circular way of how people learn, right? So they get content, they apply it, then they'll have questions for the instructor. And so that's what those Friday sessions are. And it's just a really cool way to engage with the community, build community, for them to engage with each other. And then also for me to understand the pain points and the questions that they have, which really helps me fill up my Trello board with different ideas of videos. I have no shortage of video ideas because I feel like I'm fairly tapped into to the audience and the subscribers. Same thing with our YouTube channel, with the TubeBuddy YouTube channel. Every Wednesday, religiously, every Wednesday we have one of our partners, YouTube experts, take over the channel and just do a workshop, and they just have full access to it. And then again, there's a lot of regulars, but there's also a lot of new eyeballs coming to our channel that way. And they're just getting massive value, without us asking anything. It's not a promotion. There's no upsell or anything like that. It's just strictly trying to just help them and educate them on YouTube.
Perfect. Love that. I noticed that one of the things you said, which I completely agree with, by the way, was that collaborations can be a fantastic way of building up your channel, especially if you're trying to build it quickly. Just out of curiosity, how do you decide who you're going to collaborate with, or are you quite fortunate in the fact that you work with TubeBuddy, they provide some opportunities for you, or do you specifically go out and look for creators to work with?
Yeah, a mixture of both, Luke. Really good question. So, recently we talked about, we decided to bring on, we did a TikTok panel because there's a lot of questions around TikTok in the media and things happening on TikTok. But we're very aware that, a lot of YouTubers are using TikTok. And so we thought that was an interesting topic to talk about. So those ones we reached out and we're like, okay, who is, doing things on TikTok that is also using it for business, and YouTube as well. So that's specific. There's a lot of times where we just want to highlight, we heard about a really cool creator. And so we just wanted to highlight them and give them, even if they only had like 500 subscribers, but they had a really good story, we just wanted to highlight them. So we're not, again, it's not, we have no shortage of awareness and things like that in the market. So this is strictly just a way for the community to then hear someone's story and be like almost inspired by it. Say like, hey, that's me. I also, I'm trying to do YouTube on the side, and this person was doing it. Now they're doing it full time, that sort of thing. So we're just trying to, build community that way.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
So another question from Umesh. He's asking again about the checklist. He's saying, is there a checklist built into TubeBuddy?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, there is a checklist. So there's a checklist with a number of things. There's a checklist inside what's called our SEO studio. So we take the best practices that YouTube has put out there, and we made it into a checklist. So then you can actually configure your title, your description, and your tags to all abide by that checklist. And so that's one. You can also create your own checklist within TubeBuddy. So the one that I have, you can take that and put that into TubeBuddy as well, so that as you're uploading and promoting your videos, then you can, make it a checklist as well. And so it's all in there.
Perfect. But yours is a checklist that everybody wants, right? So, okay, we've got a question from Stand Up Beauty. They have asked, my channel is about makeup reviews, but I'm also passionate about photography and filming. Do you recommend to have two separate channels or build one stronger channel with more diversity of topics?
Good question. I would say that it's actually probably a question of your audience. So would it be the same audience that would be interested in your makeup and your photography content? If it is, make it one channel, right? If it's not, then make it separate channels. Now, this is a question of whether or not you want to grow your channel as a business, or like you want to grow it really fast. If you want to grow it really fast, then you probably you'd want to separate it out, because YouTube wants they need to understand what your channel is about. So if they get confused, they're like, oh, there's some people here for the makeup, but then they're not watching the photography content. So like, what is this channel about? Because then they don't know who to send and share your channels with. New audiences, they don't know who to share it with. So that would be my answer to it, is just think about the audience. Is it the same audience? Like if you are going after people that are interested in makeup but also interested in photography, it could be the same audience.
I think that's a really good way of thinking about it from your audience perspective. Generally speaking, I would say, particularly if you're starting out, to really try and stick within a single niche, because you are going to create a bit of confusion in terms of the kind of content that you're creating. The only caveat to that would be exactly what Rob just said. So if your photography was about fashion photography or kind of beauty photography, so there's a bit of crossover, so you've maybe got appeal to the same audience, then maybe you could get away with doing it as a single channel. But more often than not, I would probably say they need to be separate, because they sound like quite different things.
Yeah.
Okay, next one we have a question from Kyle. How do you drive traffic from older videos? I'm assuming that meant to be. How do you drive traffic from older videos that don't have space to add end cards to newer videos?
That they don't have space. Gotcha. Yeah, that's gonna be a little tough. You could put end cards depending on the last 20 seconds of your older videos. You can still put an end card there. If it'll just block, obviously, like a section of that 20 seconds of the frame. But if there's a good place, you can put it there for sure. So yeah, you can do that with older videos. You can also turn an older video into a playlist. So if you want to take all your older videos, if they're not in a playlist already, you put in a playlist with other related videos on your channel. And then when you're sharing your videos on social or anywhere else, if you're doing that, then share that older video, the link within the playlist, so that when people watch, they'll see the other videos that are related. And also YouTube will automatically send them to the next video on the playlist. That will help with session time.
Yeah, they're really good tips. I think the only thing I'd add to that as well is when you're saying you haven't got enough space to add an end screen, I have that with some of my older videos, and instead of using the normal end screen, it maybe has like 2 videos and a subscribe, I'd only have maybe one kind of call to action. So maybe have just a single video. So I'm probably going to be blocking something, but at least there is a link to the other video. And again, as well, think about maybe using cards as well, or even adding things into your description or pinned comment. There might be a few other different ways in which you can sneak something in there, I think.
That's right.
Okay, let's have a look and see if there's any more questions. I'm aware that it's almost exactly 11 o'clock. I was going to see if I could try and squeeze one more question in. I don't think I can. Well, we're definitely approaching the 5-hour mark now, so I think it's potentially a good time to wrap things up, if that's okay with you, Rob.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just going to do kind of like one final reminder that, again, all these sessions have been recorded. They're all going to be available online, and I think you'll agree, Rob, there's been some absolute gold in some of these sessions today. So it's definitely
good.
worth going back and rewatching some of these. If you've joined us live today, then thank you so much. I've seen some names that have definitely been hanging around for a while. So again, kudos to you for being with us for so long. It's been great to speak to everyone actually involved in the webinar, and thank you to everyone that's contributed and asked questions in the chat as well. It's really made things interesting for everybody. On a final note, I just want to end with a big thank you to Semrush for arranging this and for hosting everything and bringing together the best speakers and panelists, providing you with the best content and the latest information. I got a little bit of insight into how much work goes in behind the scenes to actually organize all of this. So a lot goes into it. So a big thank you to Semrush, and hopefully we'll see all of you in the next webinars. So I think that is now the end of our 5-hour session. Just before I go, Rob, quickly, where can everybody find you online?
Anywhere at TubeBuddy for all the TubeBuddy channels, and then just copy and paste my name. I got a really long last name, so you can find me on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram is usually where I'm hanging out. So feel free to connect with me and DM me any questions. Happy to help.
Amazing, great stuff. And on that note, I think it's goodbye. So thank you, everyone. Goodbye.